Lama Dangomba Jidin Jambe Yana Jambe Okanga Namtara Kanda Sepe Zona Mare Medan Dunga Mare Mose Dunga Yoga Chini Shun To someone gone by Jeron better, Chezo. So down the Mongo do the you do Jeron the Shannon Jay, the Zoro, Jamazi. Send you to someone draw the Jeron. I'm good to Jenny Mother de Japan, Federal Mother. Tenzen Jandaron de Vedi, Parasana de Mazavan de Anamala, Ekitan again. Check it now, within. Since you come on the Sunday Combat and boy, the Sunday Jan Towaja, to Towaja, and they should Yan and Begone Kuno Yasan.
So for the sake of all sentient beings and with the wish to attain the precious state of Buddhahood, we can begin by having this good motivation to listen to the teaching.
No, that the name was on the Tajik Shetan Garces on the Mazo, Chusia de Carre, and the Choshibuya, Kimsin the Carre, and Lapa de Garson, now Chochina Pendo Carriere, now Choko Goa Carre, Migu Carre, and Dribu Carre, or that day, this court is Huayna.
So what is Dharma and what is the reason to practice Dharma? What is the purpose of practicing Dharma? If we practice Dharma, what will be the results of the practice? So if I speak a little bit about that, I thought to speak a little bit about it today.
That Tambo de Garces on the Chetan and Zambel in Ticana. I'm a tongue to shoot outside your time.
So generally speaking, in this world, there are more than 7 billion human beings.
That in the Garces on the Choki Lankin Tamanaki, can't you do?
And we can divide them into those who follow religion and those who don't follow religion.
Oh, that shoots out the Kim and I can't shoot the house.
Those who don't follow any religion are a little more than 1 billion human beings.
10 billion. By the way, 1 billion cases.
Then the Tunkyo.
Oh, don't you shoot the house here?
So there is a little more than 1 billion that don't follow a religion.
And they choose Shingi and Choki Lankin, they don't you drop the house. Don't you drop the
And then from those who follow a religion, those who follow a religion are a little more than 6 billion, a little more than 6 billion.
Oh, today, but on the top, Garces on the jig, shooting it out, Choki Lankin that came and get in a Choki Lankin bed mandua.
So comparing those who follow religion to those who don't follow religion, there are more who follow religion, right?
Oh, the card then be yourself on the touch shooting the Choki Lankin that Manekin, the Choki Lankin, Banka Yoga Sonda, and the Garces on the Garces on the Chichu, Pento Yoga, thank you.
Since there are more who follow a religion than those who don't, it shows that there is a bigger benefit in practicing a religion, right?
Garces, Chu Pento, stick that Chu Pento, Chushina Pento Yoga, thank you.
So it shows that there is benefit in practicing religion.
I send Chushin the Pento Man, Choki and Pento Mana, and the Garson, the Metagarson, killing Marva.
Because if there was no benefit in practicing religion, there will not be so many people that will actually accept it.
Chitang Zabri di Canada, but the comes to Chusha and Choki Lankin Bason that, because Chulet in Pento Yoga, see what it was.
So having 6 billion human beings following a religion, it shows clearly that they get benefit from this, right?
Oh, that they are Choki Lankin and Nala, Hansan and Kiba, Namchu, put the Shimbig and a bit, some Jimaja big, and the Chulu government by Tibetan, but some Jimaja Yang, Hansan Betan de Yore. The Matoji Yacho Pelankin, things uncagitated one. Choki Lankin City, Yanko Kupanda shake down, and the Choki Manakin City Mariates, Jumbo down what you got, and Anatonsa Yore, the Jimado Guns and Choki Lankin and a bit, Hansan Bay, Kirabu thinking that maybe China Deva, brought into the Kedashimbo Mambosi Yoro.
Also we can see within the people who follow religion, we can see that there are many people who are very intelligent and very amazing people that practice religion. So this kind of goes a little against the views that thinks that those who follow religion are a little more stupid and those who don't follow religion are more intelligent. So sometimes non-religious people, thinking that following a religion is something not so wise, and a little putting down those who follow religion. But we can see that within those who follow religion, there are many who are extremely bright, extremely intelligent, and also having amazing qualities. And so we can see that, right?
제가 다 드네 가르쳐서는 양거 지금 망보 시와 지금 망용신의 양뭐 망어디게 느끼는 그 요네 양 망어디나 망시 꼭과 짠짠이나 아니 그거 가르쳐는 그소 캐는 거는 아주 캐는 거예요 말아.
Di nahakomason gontak.
쇼케랭게 같이 요래.
Tonkyo tukchu,
아니 캐 만약에 가신도
Tonkyo chus,
아니 가래 망도
Tonkyo tukchudi.
또 망어 요바선도 망어디 참마 꼭과 짠짠이나 쇼케랭게 배 동교 독시 요네 참마 꼭과 짠짠데 뭔디다 꼭과 짠짠이나 이팅 가서 네버 캐는 거야 뭐도 하시.
Lasso. So we see that there are more people that follow a religion than those who don't. There are 6 billion following religion, 1 billion that don't. But suppose the entirety of that 6 billion, suppose the entirety of that majority of the 6 billion were completely stupid, then following religion for wrong reasons. So of course we don't need to follow just because the majority is following.
제가 그 쇼케 만약에 뭐 동교 안에 배 줄하서디 장보 장장다 남수신 장장지 아니 쇼케 랭겐데 뭐 동교 독시 라스 요나도 참마데 꼭파다 안 뭔디 장장이나 다 고서면 망보 요나 양 아주 미와 쇼케네 거 요마라.
So suppose we would see that the entirety of the 1 billion non-religious people, all of them would be extremely intelligent, extremely bright. And then the entirety of the people, the 6 billion that follow religion, completely stupid, then of course there would be no need for us to follow a religion just because the majority is doing that.
가인세는 아주 참마 꼭파치 안 도바 요마라.
Because we don't want to be stupid.
아주 참마 남수시 안 도바 요라.
We want to become, to have discriminative wisdom, right?
제가 뭐 급식 거거데 에네 꼭파이 매배 장보 직마도 매나 양거디 매 망용의 전에 급식 거거데 많아야 남수시 뭐직 요나 거 디지스 장야데 계신 보라.
So if 99% of the people were completely stupid and 1% or one person was extremely like very intelligent, having really good discriminative wisdom, then we would want to follow that person, right? That one person who is wise.
어다 드네 임바선다 다단 가서 다시 시바이나 데이터뷰가 다초 걔네 그뭐 동체 조시 사스 여바선다 디나네 이제 꼭과 연결해 모두 항상 백해와 남주신들이 항상 배망고도
So when we look, when we check, and when we look at the 6 billion people following religion, we cannot say that they are all stupid people. We can see that there are many people who are very intelligent, very wise within them, right?
다나 이게 대상을 가서 잡을링 디간다 안에 출루식 뭐다 항상 망고여래 그래서 당보 토마스 땡기 메드서 디베 케바베 남주신 짱짱다 염도데 베 참세 유된 그들 짱짱래도
Also, there are many different religions in the world. And when we look on, when we check the prophets, the people who started the different religions, also we see that these prophets were people who are not stupid, people who are very wise, and not only wise, but also having a very strong wish to benefit as all like sentient beings.
염도라 참바당 세바스
So having also love and caring, not
내가
only wisdom.
내가 가도이나 라스 이제 말 가이사나 추라지 남지기 답에 남쇼배 야고요가 강식라 염도데 안에 참바당 세바 참세당 되는 게 들이도 와시
So the prophets were people that had this discriminative wisdom, and together with that, also having a love and caring.
어다 대양가서 손아직 sem체망보라 평야가 시대 안에 거랑 그 sem체 그즉 르그 나다당 sem그 강이 따조 sem그 강이데 시야가 시대라 안에 거랑 남쪽에 포지션에 그 남쪽에 배주 당네 안념도도 잠체 당제에 거네 sem체는 펜도시야 달지나 람룩 되는 지레도 와스
And they also had not only this discriminative wisdom, but also the wish to benefit. So they had love and caring and the wish to benefit, and with that they wanted to benefit many people. And with that wish to benefit many people, they started the different traditions.
어 대다
This is how it was, right?
어 초진의 가르세는 남주를 빠장범위에서나 뭐 가르세는 그런 람가들 레트 말봐.
So on one hand, if they didn't have the discriminative wisdom, if they were not wise, they would not be able to lead people in the right path.
아니 초진의 델레직 잠바당 세와당 안티 냠돌의 펜토제메나 아는 가르센티 람가디직 이온 아마 참에 잉렉 말봐.
And also, if they didn't have love and caring and the wish to benefit, people will not become interested in these teachings, would they?
데리에 봐서 다 출룩 간디치게나 인상 잡으리나 출룩 잡으나 가세 이유나야 이 창마다 당보 통말 소 땡기디 민남수 진지 소 때네 잉냠돌의 배 잠세 당제베 거네 얼마만 벌 편하지야 다 디시데 배 제대와도 방안도 다 다시 야고지만 세보 통도와
So when we check the different religions, we see that the way the different religions have started, they have started with people who are very intelligent, people who are very wise, having really good heart, wish to benefit, and the wish to lead many people to happiness.
어다 디데 봐서 다 지금 저 때네 때데베 값을라 가지 직 출세야 돼 헬란의 펜토도 문도 세도 뭐 디나는 땡땡 펜토 요된게 먼저 직 가서 랍자 뭐 요된게 먼저 땡땡 출루 가리나 상말의 펜토 요된게 에쳔보 알라파데 출루 차장게 직 잠바고래 세바고래 아니 소생고래 삼시고래 아니 초시고래 세바디 베마시베 출루 상맥 랍자 징총이 봐서다 디 먼저 땡땡이 직딩이 지쳐데 펜토 누가
So when we look at the different religions, we see that the religions have started with people who were really wise and people who really had the wish to benefit, people who had like love and caring, and not only that, but people who try to promote in this world, to promote love and to promote caring, to promote patience and understanding, contentment. And so this is what we can see in all the different religions.
어떻게 정말 출룩 장맥 랍자 징성이 봐서다 출룩 차장의 디찬이지나 안 찍찍라 구협 제거야다 찍찍라 지도 차장의 펜토 요와서는 찍찍라 구협 제거하다 지스 이런 식으로
So since this is the advice we can find in the different religions, the advice which is the same in all the religions, so that's why it's important to have respect to one another from one religion to another, to have respect to one another and to have caring love to one another between the religions.
다 이나 양가르서서 다 아니 출룩 장마디 랍자당 잠세당서 랍자 징성 약이요나 아니 출룩 뭐라고 간다 차로 요레스 딕게샤 되바라
Now the next thing we can ask is, well, if all the religions have the same advice, why do we speak about different religions? How are they different from one another?
가른 노르송하고서 출룩 장마 랍자 지파르스가 말다 출룩 장마 잠바당 세와당 아니 소세다 삼시당 안트릭 랍자 잡아도 지파레스 다 안에 간대신 출룩 말하고 시작이 요레스들이 랍자 지파르스가 말다
So I'm not saying that the different religions have the same advice. That was just a mistake in the translation. So all the different religions give the same advice about love, give the same advice about compassion, give the same advice about patience and understanding, contentment. And in this sense, they have the same advice. So how there is still a difference? If they give the same advice about love, compassion, understanding, patience, contentment, how is there still a difference between the religions?
어다 잠세당 들에게 달랍자 장마 징송이나 아니 가르치는 출룩 말하고 시작을 해서 되발래 그래
So if love and kindness and understanding, if they give the same advice, how do we speak still about different religions?
다 가르치는 시작을 해서는 아니 따와 문제 비찬데
So how do we speak about different religions in the sense of having different views?
아이세는 몇 장마 삼시지파 말봐
Because it's not like everyone has the same opinion, right?
따와 문제 비찬이 아니 출룩하가 차로 그래
Because of having different views, there are also different religions.
뜻이 다 나신 가르쳐서는 양 권쇼케 랭케 담문에게 양고 되게 차네 양 말하비어래
In the same way, also in the sense of accepting the holy beings or not accepting holy beings, there is also a difference.
자 권쇼세나 가르는 지킨 거바고 켈레면에다 직된 거바고 켈 랭킹 양 직당 지팅 거바 그 머니 그 저기 와서도 양 디샤네 양 그때 스타바 만다서도 양 가샤네 봐.
Is when I say holy beings, I mean a creator God, not just holy beings in general, but a creator God. So the religions are also divided into those who assert a creator God and those who do not assert a creator God.
다가나시 양 따뜻 요바당 매바 요바선도 따뜻한 요바 매베기 차네 양 요메기 차네 양 만다 차가라.
In the same way, also having philosophical tenets and not having philosophical tenets also makes a difference, doesn't it?
다양 가르선 따뜻 요바 직바이나 양 따뜻 가르선도 즉 타락이 차네 양고 만다 차가요.
And also having philosophical tenets, the difference can be also in the subtlety of the tenets between the religions.
penna 가르선도 단디 남바 산지베 좀다 마바티니 손다야 그 남바 임바 직바이나 양 따뜻 그 차네는 즉 타락이 차네 아니 제라마만 더 대바 셈잠바 우마바 세티네 대신 이게 말아봐도 가서 따비기 차네 타락이 차네 따케는 타락이 차네 말아봐 차네 이게 차봐.
For example, also inside Buddhism, even though all the four tenets of Buddhism are following Buddhism, still we will speak about a difference in subtlety between the four tenets, wouldn't we?
대신 따라 되면서 일단 대신 따와 이해요 따와 문자 이해요 봐서는 좀다 마바 이해 차례세 문자.
So since there are four different views, so there are also four philosophical tenets in Buddhism.
그래서 잠만 남바 임바 직바레스 가르선 조페기 차네 다 문자 비시에 제바시라 요 말 잠마 참바당 제바당 납자 잠마 진선이 샤는 저긴 또 저와 따바 타락이 차네 네 베다 이 샤바레스.
And they're all the same being Buddhist, but still the differences in the sense of the views, the philosophical views, which are like more subtle or more gross. So this is where the difference is.
다네 텐데치는 다 다가나 직된 거 봐보 직된 거 봐보 너나단 직된 거 봐보 켈랭가자 만행게 되네 직다와 가르쳐 손 다도 저바 켈랭게다 다도 저바 켈 만행게 다 나츠바 직 정도 요바선다 고 이기 전에는 뭐다 차라요 됐어.
And also in the sense of asserting a creator God or not asserting a creator God, and in the sense of having different levels of subtlety of a view. So this is how the differences are posited.
다는 아주 양절께서 되네 안 대답이 가르쳐 손나 제 안에 따와 차라만 보여 따와 담으라 차라나 여기다 나도 저바 켈랭게다 나도 마르바 켈랭게다 양나 가르쳐 손나 제다 넘버 산지위 나도 마르바 켈랭게나 안 좀다 마바 이제던데 용도와 나도 잠마데 가르쳐 텐데 지금 망보디 고리고 말해 안다 찍랑 진 야래 양나 가르쳐 따와 담으라 고리고 말해 좀다 담으라 고리고 말해 안 지금 거가 켈랭게나 케만에 니가도 고리고 말해 자 텐데 저발에 그래.
And then we can ask, well, since we have all these different religions, do we need to have different religions? Do we need to have many different views? Do we need to have religions which accept the creator of God and religions which do not accept the creator of God? Do we need to have religions with different subtleties of tenets, religions with tenets, without tenets? So do we need all this variety? This is another question.
고리고 말해.
So do we need it or not? As this is another question.
나 근데 제가 이나 아는 얘기 삼주치나 고리yes.
So for this question, yes or no, I would say yes, we need.
다때 가르 직팅 거 봐보 켈랭게다 만행게 안에 가서 다도 저바 켈랭게다 다도 저바 켈 만행게 다때 나서 가지고 와서 다운 담을 나서 가지고 내신다 니가도 고리였어요.
So those who assert creator God and those who do not, those who have philosophical views, tenets and not. So do we need all this different variety? I will say yes.
다 가르치는 세나
And why? If you ask me why?
출국 다리아데 가르치는 셈셈의 펜도 지야시들에.
The reason that we have a religion is in order to benefit sentient beings.
제당 셈셈 그 셈셈의 펜도 지들 셈셈 거랑 컴다 뭐가 300권의 추지고 요래.
And in order to benefit sentient beings, one needs to do that in accordance with the constitutes and the aspiration of the specific person.
셈셈 가시 나도 저바 켈랭네 거랑데 대시야 열에 가시 다 마저 캐네 거 집에 열에 가시 가르친 직된 거 캐래네 거랑 셈발에 집에 대 열에 가시 직된 거 캐 말에는 거랑 셈발 집에 대 열. 때에 봐서 셈싱 칸도 뭐 나서가 이봐 선자 셈싱 칸다 뭐가 단 트래픽에 참배 거네 저 나서 요나 땐데 셈싱 패도 야심 뭐 용토 그래.
So for some people, it is a bigger benefit to follow a religion which accepts that the self exists. And for others, it is better to follow a religion that speaks about selflessness. For some, it is more comfortable, more beneficial to follow a religion that says that Creator God exists. And for others, to follow a religion that doesn't accept the Creator God. So since there are all these different people with so many different constitutes and so many different aspirations, that's why I would say definitely it's better to have different religions that will address the different people.
근데 와이세를 줄마서 가르치네 세라.
So if we ask ourselves why, this is the reason.
다 단단히 김치네. 어째다 난 너는 셈싱 감다 뭐가 나서가지 요가 선자 아니 출룩 디게 셈싱 그 펜토시야 셈싱 펜토시 디게 셈싱 심레 펜토시 그래 셈싱 심레 펜토시 그죠나 셈싱 코랑 그 셈게 안 삼단저다 튀비 거네 아니 쇼그 바 가르세는 펜토 니바트 제인다 아니 ኳ 펜토 용그러
So since there are so many different people, so many different sentient beings with different constitute aspirations, so having different religions will give more advice, more variety. And having more advice and more variety, there will be bigger benefits to more sentient beings. And that's why it is better to have more religions.
맨날 가르세서는 가도 메서야 돼 나자 페야시들어
For example, we make medicine in order to heal a disease.
다 네팔 잠마다 나자 잠마다 요가 선다 메 잠마다 고도와
And since there are different kinds of patients and different kinds of sicknesses, also we need different medicines, right?
대난신게 가르세는 출룩 잠마다 대난신게 가르세서는 셈싱가 감다 뭐가 잠마다 봐 삼다다 잠마다 봐 안에서 되네 봐서다 감다 뭐가 300권이 안에 가르세 출룩 잠마다 안에 요나 안에 땡땡 거라서네 그럼 감다 뭐가 300권이 셈싱나 펜도 야심보 용도 그래스
And in the same way, since there are different sentient beings with different constitutes, different aspirations, so that's why also having different religions will be beneficial.
다나 이제 칼란다지가나 칼란다가 찍마도 메서나 나데 가두이는 사가되는 이마직 탕치야 녀비안다 같은데 용어서 대난신 칼란다가 잠마다 요서는 임 잠마다 랩사 열어 소소 그 칼라 가르사는 소소를 나와 열어 대난 슈룩 잠마다 요와서 소소 감다 뭐가 300권 슈룩 가르치나 안 소소를 이 열어 봐 다음에 열어 봐
In the same way, we can also say that this is like food. If one eats the same food every day, at one point we can get bored. But if there is different food every day, different food, so there's more interest. And in the same way, having different religions, so there's more freedom and more ability to choose, right?
들리지 마도 다 this 가르쳐서는 자 어다 들리 마서 너나 셈싱 감도 뭐가 나서가 이 마서 소소 감도 뭐가 나서가 300권이 안 다도 저바 켈랭게 다도 마저바 켈랭게다 안에 가르쳐서는 지금 꼬바고 켈랭게 꼬바고 켈 만에게 아들 나서가 요다 요바선다 안 셈싱 가시 양고 소소 감 뭐가 300권이 다도 저바 켈랭나 야요래 아니 지금 꼬바고 켈랭나 대요래 양 셈싱 가시 다들 마이바 켈랭 렘바다 안 지금 거봐 매바 켈레서나 양고 대요. 안 다자사 소소 감도 뭐가 나서가 인바서나 일단 300권이 아니 랍전 나서가 지요서나 안 대리선 제는 펜도 용도 그래 왔을 때
So in any way, we have different religions in the world, and the different religions, we can see that they have different assertions. Some religions accept the Creator God, and some do not accept the Creator God, and some religions will assert that the self is established, that everything is established as itself, and others will not assert that the self is established. And like speaking about selflessness, and then some religions will have like philosophical tenets and some will not. So because there are different sentient beings with different constitutes and different aspirations, so the different religions also give an answer to all of that.
지금 딱 그래서 참마다 가르쳐서나 고리고 말해서는 너도 님뭐 고리스 간이세나 셈신 감도 뭐가 나서가 요와서나 출룩 나서가 되는 것 고리 펜도 야셔요 레스트
So do we need all of that or not? The essential meaning is that we do, because there will be bigger benefits to different sentient beings having different constitutes and aspirations.
Penna karsan Nepal Dhamma Mambo the Nepal Dhamma Mambochi, Nepal Mambochi, Natsan Dhamma Mambo Yona, and Telete Main Dhamma Mambo Coating never de Goyarva.
For example, if there are different sick people with different kinds of sicknesses, so also having different medicines will be beneficial.
Nata Chigmato Menam, Main Chigmato Gomare.
If there was just one sickness, there would be a need for only one medicine.
And Nata many may kind of Gomare.
And if there is no sickness, there is no need for medicine.
The Naji,
In the same way,
Nata Tanda Simpson come the Mova, not so much Yoga Sonta, and Tetan Sambe going to not so much Gore.
in the same way, that which is like Natsatanjawi Karela,
Natsan Dhamma, not so Yoga Naji,
in the similar way to the different kinds of sicknesses,
Simpson come the Mova, not so what, huh?
the different sentient beings with different constitutes and aspirations,
And the same Kangi Dhamma Yoga Sonta,
having different kinds of mental problems.
Kangi to see Yachi and Labjandamra Goyare.
In order to solve these different problems, it also takes different kinds of advice.
And Kazi says on a Simpson come the Mova, not so Mena.
If there were no different sentient beings with different constitutes aspirations,
And Garcia says, Semna Kangi Dhamma Mena.
if there were no different problems in the mind,
Yana Kangi Chigmato Mena.
or if there was just one problem,
Chui Chigmato Gomare.
then there would be a need only for one religion.
Sometimes Chigmato Mena, Chui Chigmato Gomare, Matsama.
If there was just one way of thinking, then everyone will only need one religion.
Oh, some not on Chigmato Mena, Chui Chigmato Gomare.
If there was just one way of thinking, so we would only need one religion.
Yana Sem Kangi Zavani Mena,
Or if there were no problems of mind at all,
or Chukon Gomare.
there would be no need for religion to begin with.
I said Nata many may go to Chikare.
Because if there is no sickness, there's no need for medicine.
Or that Churuk not so young the other cars and a Sem Kangi not so Siachi Talam the young.
The reason that there are different religions is in order to solve different problems coming to the mind.
I said the same non Kangi not so what Labjandamana Maboko, Labjandamana Maboko, you was on that Teledin. Chulugna, Labjati, that's the Pengi was on Samadi Young.
So in the same way that when there are different kinds of sicknesses, we also need different kinds of medicine. Also, having different problems in the mind requires different advice in the different religions.
When a social message, when a social message, Nana, Pekangi Hang, Sai Mambo Tedena, and the consumption social chick me to Nana, that's also the Gangi de Bessia Tablam at the mating down with Tonsona. I don't young cars and a chick choking against a conchoking against or Tadon so low gisagic, a concho of a shiri something low gisagic Yorava. Petodua.
Jeva Gyapsadu, Logisa Hakomasoni.
Chipa.
Jeva Chesa. So, for example, if one faces many problems living in human society and trying to find an answers within humanity and not able to find an answers in humanity, so still one will have another option, another place that one can still have some hope, that one can really still trust, and that will be like the holy beings. So that's an example.
Gangi not so much you're young.
Having different problems.
That Tendesic Gangi the Sia Tablam de Eneco Chicken Digan Mig, the Digan, that's also Gangi the Sia Tablam de Manina.
And if one doesn't find the way to solve the problems with the within humanity, with human beings,
when Nasa Hansa do Sashi Janaga, Nasa de Bechuya, Chinazawa, Yashi Yatama, Juya, Main Zawa, Mating, Nasa Dusa Yatama, Yashi Yatama, and the Yodenkin, that the less on that land, that Tashikan Menaya, since you pay Chada Yonaya, so seminary, or Danga Consho, so Malantana, anything in Nasa Pento or something, is also Mother Yondo.
for example, if someone has a very severe sickness that there's no medicine for, there's no cure, and there's nothing like that one can do to get medicine. But still, one can still make prayers to holy beings and trust in the holy beings. It gives some relief in the mind. It gives some hope. So this is also something which is beneficial.
근데 그 소소 세미나에 다지 고쇼로서 만나 따바이나 고쇼가 땡땡가 나자 잡아다 겹죽난 거래 삼장 소 세미나를 이시다 등소요나 들 로기사치 요가서 세미나인데 가르사나 페도도와
So if one believes that by praying to the holy beings, one can still be healed, so there is a place for hope. There is something that one can still do.
단 너도 님보데 가르사서나 좋게 님바다 문에와 제소나 아니 좋게네 안 좋게네 야트 가르사나 세미나를 지강에 나서가 요가서 텐디시아체 나 대양 가르사나 추룩 차상게 안에 가르사서 랍자디 샴바당 제발라서 왜 공부치기 요가서 안 추룩 차상 안에 배 세미나를 강에서야 참마 랍자 펜더 요래 근데 봐서나 추룩 참마 안에 배 계신보래 스타트리
So within the different religions, some will assert a creator or God, some will not assert creator or God, some will have philosophical tenets, some will not have, and some will have like different levels of subtlety in the tenets and not. But in any way, all the different religions and the different advice are giving benefit to many sentient beings.
너나 추룩 차상게 안에 즉 샴바당 세와당 안에 조세당 삼희당 초희당 들의 랍자 지금 야베잖아요 미참만 팽도와스 다데 많이 백양 따원 담다 요베샤네요 양 소소 컨센트 칸도 뭐 담다 요바서 들어야 배동도와스 어디래
So in short, the different religions are giving advice about love, about compassion, about caring, about trust, understanding, and contentment. And all of these advice we can find them in all religions, and they are all advice which give benefit to people. And on top of that, also the religions are having different kinds of views and different kinds of assertions, and also the different views of the different religions are giving benefit to different people.
너는 따와당 저번 얘기가 차네 저로그 따와당 저번 얘기가 차네 셈제는 팽동도와
So in short, both in the sense of the view and in the sense of the conduct, there is benefit, isn't it?
근데 봐서 난 너나 추룩 차상게 따와당 저번 얘기가 차네 셈제는 팽도 요바서 추룩 찍이찍라 구협시야 찍이찍라 소신시야 아니 다 저어데 가르선 찍이찍라 구협시야 돼 냠는데 소소 추룩을시 대바도 소소 추룩을시 아니 양다 예발에 당나잖아 구협시야 돼 항상 계시 버려도 와서 되다
So since all the religions are giving benefit to all sentient beings, and since all the religions are speaking about love, compassion, and really give benefit to society, that's why it's important to have respect between religions, to have love between religions, and the faith and the practice one should do in one's religion, and respect to all religions.
됐지 보다 대대체는 소소 대바단 냠는데 소소 추룩을시 구협되는 추룩 차상을시야 백케이션 볼 간이스는 추룩 차상 셈제는 팽도도 나 셈제는 팽도가 되다 추기 뭐야 인부 들어갔을 때
So respect is something we should have to all religions, and the practice and the faith in one's own religion.
대바단 냠는데 소소 추룩라지
The faith and the practice in one's religion.
구협단 제스 예란데 추룩 셴바 참말지
The respect and rejoicing for all the religions.
가르치는 추룩 차상 셈제는 망볼 팽도도 와서
And why? Because all religions are given a lot of benefit to sentient beings.
일단 셈제는 팽도도 추룩 인보래 와서
And benefit in sentient beings is the heart of religion, right?
어다 대인 봐서도 양 그래서 맞아 희고에 대한 계신 버려서
And to know all of these things is very important.
아이나 등산의 가르쳐서는 즉 대답이다 랍자 징송인 바디 잠바다 니제 제바도 랍자 징송이나 양 따바만 데베샤네 안 추룩 펜지 나 펜지 바나 마샴시에 대한 도가디 가르쳐는 로종메베 정당 안 추기 가르쳐는 랍자 닝보디 하마오바당 냠스마랑 경우레스
But these days we can see that there is disharmony between the religions. The disharmony between the religions is coming because people don't have enough studies, don't have enough understanding, and they don't understand the essence of religion.
등산 지초 나나 쇼룩 지초 난 가실라
these days in society between religions,
출룩 마찬바.
there is disharmony,
드리가 강림하고 용되기도 와스.
a lot of problems like that.
근데 용 대화디 가르치는 연구에서나 근데 용케 되가 아니 출룩 롭종 마지 약고 마지 용당. 아니 출룩 그냥 그 랍자데 장바당 세와데서 냠내 마지 용당. 아니 출룩 인보데 하마고 있다 드리 nen가레스.
And this happens because the practitioners of the religions
댕상 걸 받겼다. 차상 겼다. 댕상 출룩 나쳐봐 댕상 출룩만 뭐 마참 연구도 와스 담부터 이겨.
these days there is a lot of disharmony between religions.
계속 강의 참아 가르치는 정부 열세나
And where does all these problems come from?
출룩 롭종이하고 마지비 용당.
So it is the fault of not studying religion well,
롭종 지나야 냠내 마지비 용.
or studying but not practicing well,
냠내 지나 냠내 시당 마시비 용.
or practicing but not knowing the way of practicing.
다 되게 좀 달라 때네. 아니 얘네 연구열에 맞도지 출룩 사장은 장바당 제바당 샘신나 펜도 책을 해서 랍지 정통 잡이요 왔다 쓰고 차트레스.
The problems are coming from these mistakes, and it's not from the religion's own. It's clear that the religions are giving beneficial things. They teach about love, compassion, and actually the religions are beneficial.
되게 봐서다 쇼전에 몇 가지 말 때네 깨쳐 책도 대상만도 양생물 좀 가리열에서 때네 깨쳐 책도.
Yansen nonchun di hansaya kare
몇 참만 적라 양생물 좀그땀 깨쳐 때네 가리열에서 깨쳐 티바이나.
natik koran hakomaso.
Some people asking me what is the 양생물 양생모종께서 미카시 나를 깨졌더니 양생모종 그 땀쓰리 양생모종 깨졌더니 가르가리 있잖아 희야여 왜서 이제 시작이야.
Yansen nonchun labna yin tandempe hansaya tis joktapo kandestapo.
인당대 말아 양생세대 말을 몇 천사고서 가라. 문종세대 이나 무인이 진된게. 무인이 지요된게. 들어봐.
So these days people ask me what kind of strange, kind of interesting, strange things there are, like that in reality, what is strange that I can speak about.
대대전에 족보까지 나를 깨져 TV 값을
And when a few friends is asking me that,
나 양생모종 뭐 하고 메스.
I don't know a lot. I reply, I don't know a lot of strange events.
이나 찍하고 와대 가르세나.
But one thing that I know.
출룩차장 그 잠바고래 제바고래 안에 조선당 삼시당 초시장만 고래서 납자 찍바 잡는 양. 얘나 양다 잠세 그 고래서 출룩차장 그 잠세 잠바 제와 조선 삼시 고래 삼시장만 펜도 시그래서 납자 찍동 잡는 양. 얘나 출룩당 펜신 발라 쇼체게 발라 펜신 만투 차네. 안에 찍 출룩 발라 나tuk다 마창 용돼야 돼. 양생모종레스.
Is that all religions are saying that we need to have love, we need to have compassion, we need to have understanding and trust, we need to have patience, and we need to have contentment. They give the advice. But when it comes to the actual relationship between the religions, so there is disharmony, there is fighting, there is misunderstanding, mistrust. So this is something that I find strange in the world.
출룩차장기
All the religions
잠바당 제와 고래
say that we need love and compassion.
삼시장만 참보치 그래.
That all sentient beings, we should love all beings.
찍식을 높아지지요 말해.
And not harm one another.
다 된대신에 출룩차장 랍자 자기열에.
All religions are given this advice.
랍자 자바장만 가지고 하고열에.
We know that the religions are given this advice.
이나 추 정경기
But still, the religious practitioners,
출룩 나온편지 많지만 지바이나.
if they themselves are not in harmony with one
찍식을
another,
높아지바이나.
if they harm one another,
추 랍자당 개발해.
this is against the advice of religions. Contradicts.
대당 추바지 출룩 랍자당 개소나. 게베 리가 제바 있나?
So if a practitioner contradicts the very advice of their own religion,
디 얀신레.
this is kind of shocking.
이나 양무이는 종교요래.
But it still comes in reality.
제도 얀생 뭐 존스tere.
So this is something which is like yeah, it's kind of surprising.
It is strange news. 신사보고 딴 내준다 말이다. 산준다 말이다. It is strange news.
It is strange news.
다른 게 삼초ችን 희바인다. 그래서 야샤야다 따다 대야매 하고 뭐다 간지다. 이제 내주 살바 신사보 내주 배 신사든지. 간이세서는 주룩사장 랍제디 장바당 제바당 셈시장을 펜도 지기 희기열에 근데 추진긴 코랑기 안에 칼리 셈시장을 펜도 제기를 장바 제바 제기를 희기라 안 추고당 랍자랑 대바든 시에 주룩 나펜지 바는 만창바당 안 지기 노바기를 tra도 지기나 어다디 가르쳐서는 내주 배 신사보 차도야.
So this is my opinion. This is my view. I think that the fact that on one hand religions are really speaking about love, compassion, understanding, trust, patience, contentment, and at the very same time like the religious practitioners are harming one another, are jealous of one another. So I find it something strange in the world.
어다 되네 봐 손다 등상직 잠벌링다 추룩 마샤와 되는 망보 연구요나 양 나디 가르치는 추경 말에 추 진행이 추 지당 마시기 경 추그나나 지기라 장바고래 제바고래 인제고래 이세고래 조선고래 삼시고래 펜도시가 너바기 기마 되는도가 추경 되다 에나 다디 추 진행기 안돼 추나 말 송샤와 나징 냠내 마지네 지기라 차도 지기라 레선 지단 추경 말 추 진행 경래 다 들려되네 안 잡는 추룩 뭐뭐 참용보다 어다 되는 영의 값을라 추경 많이 봐추 진행기 추 약고 마지비 경이 봐 띵아서 하고가 뺏기신 거래.
So there is this kind of discrepancy, there is this kind of contradiction in the world. On one hand, religions are speaking about love, speaking about compassion, they speak about patience and understanding and trust. They speak about benefiting sentient beings and not harming anyone. At the very same time, we see religious practitioners who are harming one another.
Some religious beauty nar 참아시 말다 참아 말아 망보지가 항상 냠내시 된게 주로 희바나 냠내신 게 망보야 삼시게 피우스는 되게.
So on one hand, we see that the advice of religion is the advice of benefit and not harming and trusting and understanding. And at the very same time, we see that few of the just a few of the religious practitioners, not the majority, but some, are going against this very advice, and they are harming one another. They are, they create harm in short. And so what's important for me to say is that the fault here is not the fault of the religion, but the fault of the religious practitioners themselves.
어떻게 추근노를 말했대 추 제ken게 추치당 마시 좀디 하고 그렇지 추근노리당 아니 추 제ken게 추치 마시 노리디 카츠서 그래 강사가 좀다 추근좀데 카치 그래.
So this is not the fault of the religion, but this is the fault of the religious practitioners. And so we should be able to differentiate between a fault which is in a religion and a fault which is in a practitioner.
제가 딱 그래서도 양나 가르쳐서는 롭종매 받아 추기나 롭종 랍자 아마고 롭종매 비견 양나 롭종 요장 아니 셈 정보를 만내베 차당 안 송이 좀래.
And the fault the fault is either within the not studying, either the practitioner was not studying the religion, or if they were studying the religion, it's the fault of not studying honestly, studying with a mind which is biased with anger and attachment, and not understanding the real meaning.
되게 봐서도 나도다 추 가르치다 맞이 소소랑 말해.
So whatever religion one practices is one's freedom.
추 제다 뭐지 알아 말해.
And whether one practices a religion or not is one's
이나
freedom.
가시 추 제바 이나 롭종 시야다 항상 개친 버래.
But if one chooses to practice a religion, it's extremely important to study.
추라 대바지
Having faith in a religion
냠내 맞지
and not practicing
아니 롭종 가야 메나
and not studying at all.
아니 추카니 키네 뇨라 뭐 요하니까 요래
Then there is the danger that one will say, I'm religious, but actually creating a lot of problems.
어떻게 마선다 나도 배출 롭종치 항상 배다 추지 메지 라와래 아니 가르치 메지 라와래 가시 소소 출라 롭종치야 항상 배 계신 거래
So whether we study religion or not is our choice. Whether we practice religion or not is our choice. But if we choose to be religious practitioners, we should study, we should practice.
어떤 롭종치 출룩 참말 롭종치 대에나 아니 얘네 가르치는 추 메지 괜찮게나 출룩 롭종치나 일단 배도 뭐 요구야
And even if someone is not religious, still to study the different studies, religious studies, there will be great benefits that will come.
맨날 소소 내가 많이 나야 소소 매야 가지고 하고도 요나 아니 내가 현발에 펜도야 연구도와
For example, even if one is not sick, still studying about different medicines, one can give benefit to many people.
되나히
Tibetan.
되나히 안에 소소 추 마지나야 출루난 거 납자만 보지 하고도 요나 이메 현발에 가르쳐서는 펜도야
In the same way, even if one is not a religious practitioner, still knowing the different religions, one can give a lot of benefit to people.
되네 봐서는 출루 담을 롭종치야다 어디 정말 좀 맞지 기지기나 양고 출루 담을 롭종치되나 양 들을 때 통제 첨부 차야 어디 들을 때는 양고 선치시는 펜도야 양고 샤지만 뭐 차가요
And so, in the same way, knowing the different religions and knowing the advice of the different religions, one will get a lot of tools in order to benefit many people.
제가 뭐도 소소 좀 맞지 기지기 얘나 양
Even if one is not a religious practitioner,
소소 출루 담을 롭종요나
if having different knowledge of the different religions,
된디 클랍자 들을 때는 망보지라는 펜도요 제도 그래스
with this advice, one will be able to benefit many people.
맨날 소소 내가 많이 나양 소소를 면담을 하고 소소 면담을 하고 되요나 아니 내판 담을 펜도도 도가 지파레스
Pena soso nepa maina yang, anin men jamida hako waina, nepa mampola pentok chetukire.
맨날 소소 내가 많이 나양
So, for example, even if one is not sick,
소소 면담을 하고 하고 되 매주시단 하고 하고 이나
and knowing different medicines and knowing different ways of treatment,
내판 담을 안에 가르선 메인테인 펜도 담을 제도 도가 지파레스
so given medicine to different, this will be beneficial in order to be able to give medicines to different patients, different sick people, and in order to give treatment to different sick people.
내판 담을 메인담을 트레네 데트바테는 펜도 용도가
So one will be able to give different medicines and different treatment to different patients, and this will be beneficial, right?
된데 봐서도 출룩 담을 롭종치야다 롭종치 잡에 제라 디나네 납자요는 설랭 가시 양 중요는 파샤 어디시야 항상 계신 거래
So studying the different religions and studying the different advice in the religions, this will give and taking the benefit from the religions and putting aside the faults. This is what really should be done.
연태만도가 연태도 설랭 아직 겨라
Taking the
연태 참아
qualities,
설랭 납자 참아 설랭 아니 중요는 파샤
and if there are qualities, benefits in the religion, so we should take them, and if there are faults, so to put them aside.
어떻게 항상 계신 거래
This is extremely important.
베네다 나바상지나東巴상지 좀 되는 가르성으로서나 게롱탁감 케남지 세제다베 세진데 레과다와 나이가 랑와차이 90명 있었다 상지가 납세 연하면 되리다
So, for example, in Buddhism, the Buddha Shakyamuni said, "O bhikshus and learned ones, just like one examines gold by burning, cutting, and rubbing, so should you examine my teachings well and not accept them out of respect for me." So, if there is one advice which is the most essential, this is in Buddhism. This is that.
메체나서 납자만 뭐 잡이스
I gave you a lot of advice.
Yina yang de karse sona te sanji ge songware nga sanji namba sanji in ba sona sanji ge songwa de nge yin chik men ke len gres ne ko pe et songma jas.
But don't insist blindly, thinking, oh, this is the advice of the Buddha. I am Buddhist, so I must do it. Don't do that.
Nge ta shi ne ge ma de san ne ko pe et songma ma jas.
Don't insist blindly, thinking it's not okay to check what I said.
Nge chena zo xie xia wa de la karse sona che nga la te pa chi ya che de nga la ku yap chi ya che de hi ba mi song ge.
The reason I said what I said was not in order for you to have respect for me, not in order for you to have a faith in me.
Da reason Buddha said da karse gemsen sanji ge ne nga la ku yap chi ya da te pa chi ya che de hi mes.
So the Buddha said that the reason that I have said what I said is not in order to have a respect and not in order to have a faith.
Nge chena zo le pen to chi ya che de hi yos.
I said that these sins in order to benefit you.
Da de ta shi lam sa te pa ma jes mo de ma jes.
But don't immediately have faith. Don't immediately have blind faith.
Ta shi ya po chi is tambo.
First, check very carefully.
Da ta shi de te ma chi zam ma yi ba. Se shi da be se yin se de se ta shi chen gen ge. An se ya de be ta shi tambo chi be ka se la. Tambo se ya po de ba mo de ba ta shi chi. An me la se. De ne chi, de ne tu chi de ba. Ta te na ji ya po ta shi ya po chi jo se ya.
Also, when you check the teachings, don't check the teachings just once. Don't check the teachings in a very superficial way, but just like someone examines gold. So first of all, would put the gold in fire in order to check the gold, and then also rubbing the gold with a gentle cloth, and then also cutting the gold into pieces in order to check that this is really like gold. And in the same way, you should also check my teachings.
텐데 임바 송장 가르쳐서나 제 상지 좀 내게 진단 뜻속에는 상지가 송나 남상 배트는 지금 뭐디 맞지 버지 잠다 가르쳐서 딱시 약보치는 항상 비치야도 배 계신 보래 송여.
And in the same way, also the followers of the Buddha. The Buddha said it's very important that you check very carefully and not follow by blind faith.
딱시 맞지 버지는 뭐디 지바이나?
If you don't check well, if you follow by blind faith,
안데 항상 눈치신 보래스.
this is an extremely great mistake.
가두에 딱시 시효 송여래.
You should always check, examine.
되는 딱시 시세 딱시 시사까지 상지가 송 딱시 시송여다. 이래다. 예마 다스마.
What should be checked? The teachings of the Buddha.
What is check? What I'm saying teaching. This is you checking. You must checking. 어떻게? 저 가르치 다시 책을 쓰는 내 말처럼 시샤와들은 다시 약치 효성을 상지.
So the Buddha said, what I want you to check is what I tell you, everything that I tell you.
어떻게 정도가 만도 다시 약치 효성이래.
And check whether there is a fault or not in that.
어디 항상 배 계신 벌다.
This is extremely important.
어디 나킹아도 다추 마진 켄지게나 추 마진 켄지게나 가르쳐서는 다 추룩라 담라 랍정 치자나 대시바 이나 아니 텐팅 가르쳐서는 즉 추신켄테서라 즉고 연텐톤 텔레 구잡레야당 아니 소소이나 추 마진 켄지게나 양 이 소소거디나 랍자만 벌써 내네 아니 미셴바를 펜도체들이야 어디든 그거만 보여래.
And so also for someone who is not religious, to study the different religions in order to see the different advice, the different teachings, and mainly in order to take whatever is beneficial. So whatever is beneficial there, whatever has good qualities, so to adopt it, and whatever is not beneficial, just to put it aside.
텐데 봐서다 냠네데 소소 추룩라체 아 냠네시야 담보 냠네시 발 곰그레 곰발 삼그레 삼바타 로종이야 거지야 백키신 거래.
And also the practice one should do in one's own religion, and it's very important to study, to contemplate, and to meditate.
텐데 봐서만 점으로 보시겠다. 가투이나 백갈로 나오디 몰라. 안에 가서 담보 가르사는 메인 베šan데 계신 거래야. 담보 추룩이 예. 안 잠버링 당 데를 가서 담보 레베 값을라. 안에 추룩께서 요 말해서 담보 메 지바. imba sonza me be chane kare mi ge ne pe de ki chama yong ya che de par tunya de pe ma se ke chen bo res o de ne imba sonza me chin song ge chane sam ta ne me chin song la de ki go re me chin song la dong go ma re de ne imba sonza me chi yong ge de ki ya be go ne ne za de chama hi de yong ya che sam ta ya chan se ye ge ta de ke chen bo res ya ram ji ka lo tang bo chang do.
And then looking at advice His Holiness gives, looking at the wishes of His Holiness, the first wish is to, as a human being, because not as a religious practitioner, but first of all as a human being, because when we come to this world, we are not born religious, we are just born human. And so as a human being, how can we benefit all humanity? How can we increase love, compassion in humanity? So the first wish of His Holiness is as a human being.
다 되는 이와 대신들라 아니 미기 나는 쇼케 랭케다 문에가 니 왔선다 아니 쇼케 레베차네 안다 추룩 삼아 랍자데 잠바당 세바 고레스 엔다데 데리 고레스 조신 삼히트서 고레스 추룩 랍자 종기 왔선다 대답이 잠세기 추룩 차장 랍자데 잠세 얘기 땅에 봤선다 데리기 잠세 얘기 땅 왔대네 아니 추룩 삼아 참투 제거에 계신 버레스 겸으로서 깔로 이와데 항상 계셔도
And then the second advice of His Holiness is within humanity, we have both religious and non-religious people. And within the religion, so the religions are speaking about love, speaking about compassion, and trying to accomplish that in the world. So it's very important that the different religions will have harmony and love between one another. So this is the second advice of His Holiness. As a
되네
religious
맞선다 되네 맞선다 제가 추룩 삼아이가 랍자데 잠바당 세바 얘기 땅에 샘실 펜토 시그레스 랍자 칭통 잡에 와선다 되네 그 랍자디 안에 나 샘실을 발 랍자 잡아 나기 추룩 나 펜츠나 안에 토넘치야 베케이션 보레스 어때
So the second wish, the second advice is following the very wishes of religion. Religion speaks about love and compassion between everyone. And so it's very important that also the religious people will have love and compassion to one another.
제가 되네 맞선다 경우로 베제 가르자선다 좀 맞은 케이지가 추를 롭좀 시고가 시네 펜토 요바 나히 아니 추 잡아네 베제 소소 맞은 케이지가 야 남베가 가르자선다 제 남베가다 생릭당 남베가 아니 이람데서 남야당 와 남베가다 semkanre 받아 생릭당 어다 되네 가르자는 꼴라 안에 베 롭좀 치바이나 좀 맞은 케이지가 펜토 요데스 경우로 시 깔로 남도와
Also, His Holiness is given the advice that says that in the same way that religious practitioners should study the different advice of one another. So also if someone is non-religious, to study the advice that is in the advice in Buddhism, the advice about the science of mind, the Buddhist science of mind, and
남베가 따주
and the
따주
philosophical tenets, the Buddhist philosophical tenets, and
남베가 체릭 남베가 따주 남베가 추 섬요베 나네 남베가 따르다 남베가 체릭이나 아니 좀 맞은 케이지가 있었나 양 네바 롭종치나 펜토 요아레스
so within the three parts of Buddhism, the Buddhist science, the Buddhist philosophical tenets, and the Buddhist religion. So the first two, the Buddhist science and the Buddhist philosophical tenets, are really important to study also for people who are not Buddhist or non-religious at all.
어다 남베가 나주 써야 돼 아니 냠레시아레 나주 냠레시아레 남바 코랑 게 가르쳐서나 아니 레게 마도 즉 메시바데네 냠레 메지 게지라 되게 레스 고 말레스
And then the Buddhism itself, not the Buddhism itself, but the Buddhist religion. So the Buddhist religion is something which is only for Buddhists to practice, and there's no need for someone who is not Buddhist to practice the Buddhist practices.
나 남베가 따르다 남베가 체릭니디 아니 좀 뭐지 게지 롭종치나 펜토 요레스
But the Buddhist science and the Buddhist philosophical view, these are things that also non-Buddhist people will be benefited by practice.
아니 세서나 남베가 따르 세디 남베가 따와데 가르쳐서나 남베가 따와데 땡종레 남베가 좀다디 다 좀다 마바 이제 제라 마바 도 대바 아니 셈잠바 오마바 나데 가르쳐 좀다 시게 차라근 조당 안 따와데 그 땡종 따와 땡종을 되네 안다 가르쳐는 좀다 히 조당 어디 학과데 다디 망보식래 양고 따와 땡종 그 땡네 아니 배 땡종 되면 정왜 그 돈다 학과가 되네 아니 배 망보식래 양고 셈바배 고양보 야친보 아니 남초배 코니코는 페야 펜토 요바 선자 로존치 팬도 요래서래.
The Buddhist view of dependent arising. So this view is something which will be very beneficial for many people, because by studying about dependent arising, one's horizons are expanding, one's understanding of the world, one's discriminative wisdom, it's all increasing. And so there is a lot of benefits that comes from that. And that's why it's something which will be really good for many to study.
다나지가 남베가 가르스네 tum테가 나래 아니 유그 남자다 유신 남자 이양도 유신 남자들라 아니 가르스서 소나 지가 희바 유신배 로당지 로당 로라 기버스 유신들라 라직지 로직지 아니 기버스의 강사 다 뜻은 저 로익 남자 어다 셈셈종 남자다 이양도 다 되네가 가르스네 셈그 체닉도 약과지 하고 와이나 셈셈종 남자 약과 하고 와이나 안데 네바드 가사나 좀 맞은 케이지가 롭존치 하고 와이나 아니 셈기 가르스에서나 제가 좀 셈기 로탕상마 하고 와르스 셈기 셈상에 로탕상마 하고 와서나 아니 가도 셈 대기 땡ken게 아니 대기기 요데 셈데 가르샤 아니 동에 송ken게 셈기 요데 가르샤 다 되는 시에 셈좀 로탕상마 하고 와서나 아니 얘네 소소베직 셈상에 나서 끼어의 값을 다디 대기 땡ken게 셈 가르래 동에 송ken게 셈 가르래 어다서 세버지나 하고 와서나 안에 소소 대기 고와 나이 대기 저르탄 시그래 동에 먹어와 나이 동에 저 바깥한 시그래 대당 셈 좀 남자 뭐다 예와당 지레당도 하고 어디나 이야 가르쳐서 몇이 나서 대기 중요하나 펜도 첨부 요와선자 어다디 로전 제거 계신 버리 찍대요.
And again, when we look at the presentation of reality in Buddhism, so reality is divided into the objects and the object possessors. The objects and object possessors. The object possessors are divided again into three: the person, the sound, and the awareness. Like the person, meaningful sound, and awareness. And within the three, mainly it is the awareness. So to study about the awareness, to study the teachings of Lorik about awareness and knowledge, so studying about it, the different divisions into mind and mental factors, knowing the different minds and mental factors, is something which is extremely beneficial. And it's extremely beneficial. Why? Because mind, mental factors is what determines our happiness, what determines our suffering. And we all wish for happiness. We all do not wish for suffering, right? So the happiness, we need to check which kind of minds are creating our happiness. And suffering, we need to check which minds are creating suffering, how to eliminate suffering, how to accomplish happiness. So this is something that we need to know. This is something that we all want to know. And that's why also studying about the mind and mental factors is something which is very beneficial, which is there in Buddhism.
오 대답이 그 다시 가르쳐서나 쌤 소소 대화 고와나 대기 가르치 좀 그래. 안에 동네 먹고 와나 동네 이제 가르치 매봤어 그래. 나도 약고 하고 와지라 항상 배 리퍼 장보 리퍼 장보 용화자마다 리랑 된지 양 가르쳐서나 즉 세마릭 베게 안에 배 김신 짱짱 삼단이야 로당 어다 바이올로직 말아 어다 데 가르쳐서 김신 짱짱 삼단이 로야 따디 팬도요나 미 남주 열진론 들었더니 내가 드려 팬도다 동네시알 팬도 여와서 남주 열진로야 차긴 찍기 아니 세마릭 바차가 되데 김신 짱짱 삼단로야 따 되려 팬도 신분을 로준 시작해 신 분です.
And also, since we wish to accomplish happiness, and we wish also to make the cause of suffering non-existent, in order to accomplish happiness and make the cause of suffering non-existent, we need to have a very good intelligence, an intelligence that will really be able to tell us what is the right way, what is the way to accomplish happiness, what's the way to alleviate suffering. And these teachings are the teachings of logic. The logic, Tibetan logic, Samarikpa, is the teachings that also show how to develop correct reasoning, correct understanding. And this is also very important.
today masona jamuna bachigeta kaduyena tanda nganzo nangchu nal yo dengi ga nangbe shog nyamne de an nangchu cheken korang ga nyamne shin tegres ta dina nangchu na yo dengi ga ne be senik de chen tang ane be semkam senik nam ya tang ane che chumta tang sem ge che de ji twin tang tang de ne che de jimse sam tang tang ta de so de gar se nangbe ge chumta tang nangbe ge senik de so le de ne ane sem che ji yong la pen to yong de la kwa de zambeleng teng sang ge chi ge ngo ye ji ben zhuo yo na yang nang sem na ga nge hiu che de ge me mo yo wa song da da de nang be ge sem kam ge senik ti ane lo jong xie tan na en ting gar se ne sem le xie de zhuo ya tang an dong ne le be ga be dong ne xin de par ka tang da wa de ge pen to chen bo yo wa song da de zambeleng ji yong ge ane be je xi jia dang yo de na yi ba zhe tan de ya huan du是在放上我ba jia xin ba
So His Holiness speaks about the three divisions of Buddhism: dividing Buddhism into the Buddhist science, the Buddhist philosophy, and the Buddhist religion. The first two, the science philosophy, are things which are extremely beneficial for humanity. The reason that they are beneficial for humanity is because we can find a lot of answers how to solve suffering, how to solve problems. And these days there are a lot of suffering, a lot of problems in the world, a lot of mental problems. And even though the society is advancing in a material sense, the outer environment, the material progress is there all the time. But we see that the mental suffering, mental problems are very big. And so, in order to face the mental problems, to solve the mental suffering, the Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy are extremely beneficial. So the way Holiness thinks about it, the way Holiness divides Buddhism in this way, is a very like it's a very vast way of thinking. It's a very very big way of thinking, very vast.
Very beneficial for us, this human person, this wood. Teta di karse son teta biga semkam ripa tang sema ripa nam jata yakwa hakwa di na ane zambling jiung ge mi jiung la ane pe koto yergin roya tang semka kangi siya tang leji dhriya ge ane namshu yergin roya tang ane pe sempa kuya chaya pento yores.
So to study the Buddhist philosophy and the Buddhist science is something that will bring a lot of benefit. It will bring benefits in making the discriminative wisdom in the world more, like increasing the discriminative wisdom of people in the world. It will bring benefit of showing the way to solve problems, to alleviate suffering. It will be beneficial in making one's mind more gentle, more open. So it will give all these different benefits.
Oda tende eba son jawarambashi gongji jawarambashi gongpa sumba di karse son na teta biga ane popege pogu popa ibe chane pogu tumu ma ibe chu tang yung yergi tang gare kari se son na popege karse na chik tumu ma ibe ane chu na chu di na ne pe semkam ge tsenrik an tsema ripa oda tende yilam resa namsha ta te ibe jiyung la pe mo jiyung lobjang shi taba ina mo jiyung namshu yergi roya mo jiyung semba koyang ba chaya ane jiyung pe yakbo yung do yedang tende imba son na popege tumu ma ibe chu tang yung tala tene zambil jiyung la pento shi taba nuwa yuwa son za di karse son na 양거 열개 땅도 시험으로 이제 공부해야 이제 직들이스.
And so because of that, another wish, another intention of His Holiness is to preserve and to keep like flourishing, to keep the Buddhist, the philosophy, the Tibetan Buddhism, the Tibetan culture, and mainly the Buddhism, to keep it flourishing. And the reason is because it gives a lot of benefits to the world. The reason it gives a lot of benefit to the world is that in Tibetan Buddhism we can find the Buddhist logic.
나슈 그 샘감 그 체릭다 좀다. 다 좀대 나야 샘감 체릭 될 때네 아니 잠을 지용라. 아니 베스 가르세는 샘나 강에만 요대 봐서 다 샘감 그 체릭이 로르게 남자도 야 줘봐이나 지용 남슈 야게 줘야다. 지용 샘 강에서야 해도 요래. 다 대다 냠도데 남슈 야게 따야시는 세마리 거도 장터나 아니 지용라. 샘지 지용라 팬도네. 그래서 남백 통모 많이 베가 추그 나래다 남백 따뜻한 체릭 될 때네 아니 샘치 망보지를 펜토체다 그에 와서가 아디 가르사 뭐냐마치는 윤지식과 계신 버스 김세들.
So the Buddhist philosophy and the Buddhist science are things that are extremely beneficial. They are extremely beneficial in order to increase the discriminative wisdom of people in the world. They're extremely beneficial in order to solve suffering problems, to make the mind also more gentle, open. So this is extremely beneficial for all of that. And that's why it's very important to preserve it, to preserve the Buddhist philosophy, to preserve the Buddhist science in the world, and the way it is preserved also in Tibetan religion of Buddhism. So this is another intention of His Holiness.
어때지? 단 너나 가르쳐서 남백이 추고 나래. 아니 배 샘컴릭백이 남자다. 아니 제마를 봐 임생을 때네 남주 얘기다야. 나 그래서 뭐 지용 그 가르쳐 지나래 마지나래 뭐 지용나 아니 배 펜토야 이 봐서 나 그래서 뭐냐 봐지 되네. 야 야원 뭐지 공부하지 때 이유스들.
So another intention of His Holiness is to preserve the presentation of the mind, the science of mind of Buddhism, and also the logic, Tibetan logic. So Semkam Rigpa Namshak and Sema Namshak. So both the science of mind and also the presentation of logic. So to preserve both of them, because these two are things which are extremely beneficial to bring happiness, and that's why Islamist wants to preserve.
되네 양 가르쳐서나 경문을 보시 가르송도 세서나 야르게 나무게 나나무게 region 다 디나네 가르쳐서나 가르쳐는 생각을 빼고 걸 야르게 내마데다 나수 찍고 말해 남바 찍고 말해 남바 많이 ken가 해주다 야르나 내마 region 마보여서 드르직 마보 찍고 나네 안 생각을 빼고 걸게 생의 시대 중상 거든 다 탈람 region 인바 마보여래 다디 등상 상만 냠 정도 다디 냠지 지야 말해 디 항상 그 야게 땅 거야리야 간이세는 등상 잠을 지용라 아니 치경우보다 변제 예진 전화야 나 생각강에 모두 들어요 와서다 근데 배 생각강에 시야체데 대답이 나무가는 생각을 빼게 생각강에 시야 타람돼서 단답에 열기 당와는 단답 팬도 요구했을 때 봐서 야르 뭐지게 근데 야르 나무가는 배 생각을 빼게 양치 가르쳐서는 대체 그래서 냠도요 와서 양 고니 빼야 야르 뭐지 공파 얘기 있으면 돼
And then another intention, another wish of His Holiness is the wish to preserve the entirety of the Indian religions, the Indian philosophy. And Indian philosophy religions is not only the Buddhism that came from India, but also Hinduism, Jainism.
Philosophy religion 말다. 야gar kar semkam ripa. Nema karsen semk tsenrige semkam ripe philosophy sen semariga mangba de kare. Anda karsen yagar ke karsen semkam ripa je nema seminal hede tudang kol. A hendu nar churuk tamara mangba yiwaso na seminal hede tudang ke semkam ripe ke tanam yaten mangba yare. De tanda nyam 정도. 다디 냠김 도. 간이세나 대상 잠벌링 날 칭호 벤저 얘기 전화 양 나semk 강에 망도 정도와 semk 강에 시바 지발다 semkam ripe 땡네. 안에 강에 시가 와서다 대대비 야갈 나무 그 현님과 여대바데 semkamri pega ko yima yo dewa de manya ma chi ya yage ta ta ba yina zambring ma bo chi ge semche ma bo chi ge seminal ka nge sia la pen to yo le song yo de yima san ja wa ma chi ko hi ba de
So the fourth intention, wish of His Holiness, is to preserve the Indian traditions or the Indian science of mind, the Indian tradition in relation to science of mind. And because there were many traditions in India that spoke about how to work with the mind, what is the mind, how to work with the mind, how to take away suffering, how to develop happiness. And so this is extremely beneficial again, because these days in the world, we see that the material development is there more all the time, but we see that at the very same time, there is more and more mental suffering. And so since the world these days have a lot of problems related to the mind, a lot of mental problems, so it's important for the world now to know all these different traditions of India, the traditions that speak about how to work with the mind, that present sciences, different science of mind. So it's very important for the world, and this is the fourth intention of His Holiness, to preserve that.
다 되네 가르세는 정문으로 보시기야 공식가 와서는 데 가르세서는 잠벌링 차장게 안에 빼다 간저 참마 류대와 샘기와 대상 약고 용 거래 류대와 샘기와 영화 제발 간저 대사데 잠벌링 사과라 정마지 거래 잠벌링 사과라 정마면은 간저 간르시네 류토된 용 말이 샘되지 용 말 근데 봐서 사과라 데 정마년 우리가 손접지고 패키징 보레스데
And then the fifth wish, intention of His Holiness, is to protect the environment, to protect the planet, because the planet is where we live. We all live on this planet. We all rely on the ground and so forth. If the ground and the elements are not in a good state, so we ourselves will not be in a good state, and that's why this is the fifth wish, intention of His Holiness.
다 되네치다 제가 주창마데 배 가시 삼다나 너는 메인베게 차네 가르세서나 제 메치용 그 안에 레지를 요대비 총총감 요대비 장바당 제와도 야기 따네 아니 시대 준바이나 메치용 대치용 비요바
And so in short, the first wish is as a human being, because as human beings we all have this innate goodness. We have the innate ability to practice love and compassion, and so to use this love and compassion that we have.
practice wrong nor바래 practice에서는 초기념을 지단 걸 해야 여러분 먼저 메치용 상마데 내기 거 요바 송장
So as all human beings, we all wish for happiness. And
대기가
therefore,
짜바데 잠재린도 갔어요. 잠재.
the root of happiness is love and compassion, right?
예전에 잠재 세다 가도 총총간에 잠바탄 세반 도가 아스.
Love, compassion, love and caring. So from the time that we are young, we all have love and caring, don't we?
텐데그 잠재들베 야기 땅에 거네. 안에서서 너무 파마버지 이물 겸세 계급 시장 참보지야 계신 분です.
And so to improve our ability of love and compassion or love and caring, and to expand that to our family, friends, and to everyone, this is very important.
잠재 냠내시스라고 하면 냠내시스도 추당 제용구야래. 추고 깨샤래.
So not to practice loving kindness, because if we were to say to practice, already it would be understood as religious kind of sin to practice loving kindness.
잠재 야기 땅 그랬을 때 야기 땅.
But to improve, to increase loving kindness.
다데 항상 계신 분. 아니 이바데 초록샤장가 랍자디 안에 잠재당 대배거네. 안에 배 지속을 펜바드야 돼. 안에 초록 랍자렌도. 안에 봐서는 초록샤장 참보지야 계신 분です.
And then the second advice is since we need to since the religions, second advice is in relation to the religions. So since all religions speaks about love and compassion, it's very important to have harmony, to have good relationship between the different religions. So the second advice of His Holiness, the second wish, is to promote harmony, religious harmony.
제가 초록샤장 랍자야디 심신상만의 잠바당 세와 고리서 팔랍자야 소소 초록 제게 남편처럼 마찬가지인데 못 차버려 봐서야.
So the advice that the religions are given is an advice of developing love and compassion.
We all religions giving advice. 나도 초록 차장기 파리가 랍자야디 가래 심신상만의 잠바당 세와 고리 참보식을 시 초록 남편처럼 마찬가지나 이못 차버려 봐. very 시험스 건데.
So all of us religious practitioners, all of us in our religions, we all give this advice. We all say that we need to have love and compassion between all sentient beings. And on one hand, giving this advice, needing love and compassion, but at the very same time, not having even love and compassion between one another as religious practitioners. So this is very shameful, is embarrassing to do that.
어다 되네 보고에 가르쳐서 나제 양초당을 용나나 안에 semkam직파당 세마릭베 꼴라 안에 지속 지용라 초 마지케라 펜토야 잠브르 마지용 펜토야 근데 요바선다 양 대양 만냠시야 계신 버리샤스
Churchen Jakob Komaso.
만년에 가리고 아니 보고추 되네 가르쳐나 보고추 따서바데 보고래봐 보고치 시트 초당을 용 얘기다 보고추당 region나나
And then within the Tibetan religion and the Tibetan culture.
semkam직파당 세마릭베 안 남자도서 학과와 이나 초 마진 케나 양 디베 similar de ki tunya da ane pento yo ba sonza odi yerki ta ya de yaram chi gomba chik de resga.
If we understand also the science of mind and logic within Tibetan Buddhism, and which is in the Tibetan culture, so understanding that will give benefit to humanity, will give benefit in order to have more intelligence, discriminative wisdom, and in order to have more happiness and less suffering. So this is another reason. This is the reason why we should preserve the Tibetan culture, religion, and this is the third wish of His Holiness.
다 되네 야gar ge namu ge ane semkam jekpe ge ko de yang ya ge tang du manya ya ge tang du.
And then also we should keep the traditions of India, the Indian traditions of the mind, speaking about how to practice with the mind. We should also allow them to keep flourishing, not to degenerate, but to increase.
강이 세선 대상 잠을이라 치 빈조리 얘기로는 낭 semkam이 티데 망보도와 semkam이 시바 시바라 땅에 메게 강이 시야 탑람 그 sem게 강이 시야 탑람 저 쌈다와 이나 때네 펜토 챵버 요레스.
because these traditions speak about ways to work with the mind, different methods to solve suffering, to accomplish happiness. And so that's why it is important also for these traditions to flourish in the world.
다 되네 가서서는 간저 대사대 간저 당 나온다 대사나 이때 뭐 동치 된시 장마 대사대 간저 사고라래 사고래 장마 전에 저포초된 약고 정도 저포초된 약고 전에 안에 셈을 대치 용거래 자 류대 셈기 용거 전에 간저 강데 내세 그 사고라 장마 지냐 그랬더래.
And then also the planets that we live on, this earth that we live upon, this is very important for us to be happy, to be healthy. And so also to protect the environment, to keep the planet in a good state is another intention of His Holiness.
어때래 말선다 간저 다 칠로고 고립돼 장마 약고 냐을 거야 항상 계신버리도
So for us to keep the outer environment very clean is very important, right?
다 칠로고 고립 장마서
So cleaning the outer environment.
대 장마 요는 소소 눈감 초대 장마 용 그래 봐.
And when the environment is clean, also one's body will become healthy, right?
다 류는 초대 장마 용서는 들려되는 ranking 셈들 때내 봐서 셈라 시대 용해야 돼. 해도 여러 봐.
When the body is clean, so also the mind, depending on the body, will get benefits, right?
이나다 셈장마 약고 용어 제발을 가르고르서는 생각 초대지 앞에 계신 거래.
But in order for the mind to have, in order to have mental hygiene, to have a clean mind, it's very important to think in the right way.
그러나 류는 초대 용어 제발라 류를 배 패하게 외담이 A, B, C, D 세. 아주 장마데 가르서는 류를 내버도 고와 렌도 땡도와.
For example, in order for the body to be healthy, it's very important to rely on different vitamins, like to take vitamin A, B, C, D, and so forth.
대나신게 만도 셈을 대치 거서나 안에 배 셈을 대치 거서나 셈그 초바데 땡 뭐초바데 빵고 와서나 셈을 초바데 가래. 안에 장바 제와 소신 삼시 시럽 닝제 어다 더 장마 셈을 초바 셈을 대치 중게 돼 봐선다 나 더서 등아도 땡네 더서 얘기 땅 그래서 뭐야.
And in the same way, we should also keep mental hygiene. We should also take care of the health of the mind. And the way we take care of the health of the mind is by relying on that which is suitable and abandoning with that which is not suitable, relying on that which is good for the mind and abandoning that which is not good for the mind. And that which is good for the mind, that which is good for the mind are things like love and compassion, understanding, trust, and also wisdom. So developing these states of mind, patience, developing these states of mind, this brings mental happiness, and abandoning all the negative states of mind, which bring suffering like anger and so forth. So this is the way to take care of the health, to preserve the mental health.
대치 어다 되네 임바선다 되 윤의 가르쳐서는 먼저 제 대치 다 되네 셈라 셈라 마중 캔데 가르쳐나 셈라 마중 셈라 강인 성게 다들 컨트롤 제도를 차도를 제셈데 어다 되서 장마데 셈라 마중 캔바 그래서 되는 셈라 동의다 강이 저기 와서 셈라 마중 그래 다들 내가 써 그래 성이야.
And then the sins which are not good for the mind are sins like anger and hatred, jealousy, competitiveness, all of these states of mind which are harming, creating suffering. So these are not good for the mind. And these are the sins that we should abandon.
다가나 이제 매진의 장바, 매진의 세와, 매진의 이세, 매진의 소생, 매진의 삼시, 대 제바 이나 안에 소소량 셈시대 영야. 들어든 매진바량 셈시대 주. 라신 꾸는 바 셈시대다 셈바 기로 참복 용도 아스기야.
In the same way, if we have love for the other, if we have caring, if we care for the other, if we have understanding and trust towards the other, so these sins will bring happiness to both sides, both to ourselves and to the other person. And because it works in this way, that's why it's important to develop these states of mind.
그러니까 저 나무 찍이 제가 제바 요나 잡아 요나 간디 기본도.
For example, if we have care and love to one another in our family, so it is so nice to live like that, isn't it?
나무 찍이 제가 잡아매나?
If there's no love to one another in the family,
너무 찍찍라 이세메나
If there is no trust in one another in the family,
너무 찍찍라 제와메나
if the family members don't care for one another,
너무 찍찍라 소세메나
if the family members don't have a patience to one another,
너무 찍찍라 이세메나
if the family members don't trust one another,
너무 찍찍라 삼히메나
if the family members don't understand one another,
아니 너무들 침상들 축복하세요. 내기 가는 용거 말아.
so no matter how much, if all of this is there, so no matter how much the family is rich, there will not be happiness, right? No matter how rich the family is, happiness will still not come.
침상들 축복 인장로 민장로 가서 무모보 요장로 매장로 너무 찍찍라 제와 찍찍라 이세 찍찍라 소신 찍찍라 삼히 찍찍라 잠세요나 가뚜 유나베 침상들 내기 용거래.
But whether the family is rich or not, whether the family has a lot of money or not, if the people of the family care for one another, if the people of the family have trust in one another, if the people of the family understand one another, if the people of the family love one another, have patience for one another, then this family will be happy. There is no doubt about that.
근데 맞습니다. 잠바당, 세바당, 소신당, 삼히당, 조시당, 히랍당, 인제서야 돼서데 다 나도 가르서는 대기기 중요하게 너무 문의를 샤리야.
So love, compassion, wisdom, trust, these are like jewels that accomplish our happiness.
다 대강나 안에지. 세당, 보당, 네마당, 롱주당, 응당, 칸바당, 대사당 안데 정말 정선 빼마시야 버려.
And in addition to that, if we also have food and clothing, if we have houses, objects of enjoyment, if we have all of this, then the happiness that we had before from love, compassion, caring will become even bigger when we have all these good conditions outside.
This is very good.
This is very good.
제가
Not necessarily
필요하다.
that happiness will become bigger, but this is very good.
제가 나게 가르쳐서는 다 잠바당, 세바당, 편주 소신당, 삼히당 되네 빼 약어요나 디가나 안에 세고 네말 롱쇼 안에 대사다 딘튼진 약어요나 되네 빼마시 약어레스.
So if we have inside a love and caring, patience and understanding, and also in addition to that outside we have food and clothing.
Top of that,
in addition to that, yes. Natanta in addition to Yatongidu Peche Injishan Kernatis Islam Poyore. In addition to that. And in addition to that, if we have like food and clothing, if we have houses and objects of enjoyment, if we have all of this, so it will be really, really good.
어다 되지. 단 너네 가르쳐서는 즉 소수 그 셈디 대기 대단 독세와 짜바 카토드세서나 류대와 셈기바 고야래.
So when we ask ourselves, what is happiness? What does happiness depend on? So happiness is both mental happiness and physical well-being.
어다 류대와 영화선 류를 초튼 약과체 그래. 셈 대바시와라 셈네 빼체 장바당 세와당 대기 이제도 창외기 때문에 안 넘추 얘기 땅나 안에 셈대기 용그래.
In order to have well-being of body, we need to have to take care of the health, to have good vitamins and so forth. And in order to have mental happiness, we need to have love, compassion, understanding, patience, all of these qualities that bring mental happiness.
단 너네 가르쳐서는 제 난그 셈게 장바당 세와당 인제당 소신당 삼히당 히랍당 근데 셈 용틴데서 유를 마치바 끼바 문냠마 공네 다 제네 안에 셈 빼직 고양보 다치보 통자침보 안에 이제 되나 안에 뭐지나는 히레 소소의 히레 용도야 안에 소소 고립 상마의 히레 준도야 빼펜도야.
So if we have these inner conditions like love and compassion, patience and understanding, trust, wisdom, if we have all of these inner conditions, so this will give ourself a peace of mind. This will give ourself a happiness. And also when it comes to our family and friends, relatives, so we will be able to bring happiness, peace, also to our family and to our environment.
When 소소 그 셈듯이 소소 그 셈라 장바당, 제와당, 예셰당, 소센당, 삼희당, 초시트스 요나 될라 때네 소소 배 강드네세 그 소소 나무 파마 번시 유무 kimse 예가 참마라 피게 되도 그래.
For example, if one has in the mind love, compassion, understanding, patience, wisdom, then one will be able to establish the peace and happiness also for one's friends, one's family, one's country. So for everyone around oneself, one will have the ability to do that.
Once a home, once a family, once a neighbor, once a country, once a religion, all this university. 어디서 참말다 소수주의 장바제와 연투서 참말 펜도시트 그래서.
So if one has love and compassion, one will be able to benefit all of this. One will be able to benefit oneself, one's home, one's neighbors. One will be able to benefit one's country. One will be able to benefit the entire one's religion. One will be able to benefit the entire universe. One will be able to benefit all of that.
소수 그 셈라 장바당, 제와당, 이셰당, 소센당, 삼희당, 아니 인제당 히랍 강야 매된 게 지게 안 소수 나올 시대 간을 뜬도 소수 나올 대기 간을 써도고 대나 이 소수 파마 번지 유명 kimse 예가 간을 시키대 뜬도 뜬도 말 봐. 방법 소수 시대 매발 매게바 간을 시대 뜬도 그래.
And if one doesn't have in one's mind love and compassion, patience and understanding, trust, wisdom, if one doesn't have that in one's mind, one will not be able to benefit, to establish the peace for one's family, one's friends, one's neighbors, one's country, one's religion, the entire world, the entire universe. One will not be able to do that because if one cannot accomplish peace, happiness for oneself, how can one accomplish peace and happiness for others?
제가 당보 소수 셈을 시대 뜬 대내 소수 나물 시대 뜬 아 대내 소수 kimse 조포 조모 예가 머리 어디 참마 시대 뜬 받자 그래 봐.
And so the way we should do it is first to accomplish peace and happiness in one's mind, and then for one's family, neighbors, relatives, country. This is the order, right? This is the way we should go, right?
어떻게 말씀다 가르치는 추구 짜와세나리 냠내가 짜와 가와 저거서는 소소셈이 시대 뜬네 안 되는 야채 땅들 소소셈라 직 장바당, 제와당, 히랍당 그래서 연기 땅네 아니 다 얘네 봐 치료듯이 하더래.
So the root of Buddhism, the root of religion, the heart of religion is first of all to establish peace in one's mind. And after establishing peace in one's mind, also increasing that and spreading it to one's family and friends and so forth.
소소 나무 번시 유무 kimse 예갑 추룩된 차장 잠을 시대 때 받은 데스.
So to establish first peace in one's mind, and once one has established peace in one's mind, also to spread that to one's family and neighbors, to one's country, religion, and to the entire world, to spread that.
어다츠 사마데 항상에 개침버 차디.
So all of these things are extremely important.
제가 들에 봐서 다 독서 참아 가래 소소 그 세미나에 장바당, 제와당, 히랍도 이렇게 거야 딱 개침버리도 와.
So Rinpoche,
아우, 원도 라블라.
dashtele na tragya gakshak.
나 베니 내 하고서.
Na benin
Trahi-
dashtele.
트라히델.
Trashidele. Uskte. Ukamsa.
Thank you.
Na koma son ni tragya chaksa.
마삼 점에.
Masam jomish.
아. 제장다 가르쳐서는 도마데 가르쳐 소소 그 세미나 장바당, 제와당 안에 배 히랍도 또 소소 규를 배 깨네. 아니 얘네 이게 소소 규를 잠세당 히랍도 요되네. 아니 얘네 들어되는 셈시 참아 시대 좀 그래 봐.
So the way to go is first starting from oneself, right? First starting from oneself and establishing love, compassion, wisdom in one's mind, and then expanding to the environment, and establishing a love, compassion, wisdom in the environment. This is the way to go, isn't it?
저는 드레인 봐서 소소 위주로 단단 간도 즉 장바단 인제다 전선에서 맨날 양 간조 위주로 즉 sem체 담지 대화단 된도 그 장배 그 사봉 sem체 담지 동네다 차와 지긴 삼배 인지 그 사봉 어다 되네 즉 간조 sempa 상보 에다 즉 가르센 데이터 그 사봉단 색당 어떻게 지도 왔다디 칼레 칼레 열게 당네 이 지금 미니 가르세서는 냠내시야 되고 계신 버래.
So right now we have the seed to practice love and compassion, the seed to develop wisdom. We have this seed, or we have this nature. We have this kind of lineage, this nature that allows us to practice love, compassion, wisdom. And so what we need to do is to take this seed and enhance it, make it like grow more and more.
어다 되네 가르세 제당 가르세는 추당 만데베 땡네 sempa 상보 나 참바 고도 제바 고도 아니 조센 고도 삼시 고도 안테 제 이시 고도 선테네 소소 지게네 다디 소소 갈레 갈레 얘기 땅땅 열어봐 엔다 출룩당 만데나 디 열시에 땡 사보다 디스칼레 가고 샤디 아니 선은 출룩은 난 다서 얘기 땅야 땡 사보 항상送열어봐 어제 디스 해서 열
And generally speaking, we can say that one doesn't have to be religious. One can have interest in developing good heart. Like if we are specific, an interest in developing love and compassion, interest in developing understanding and trust, interest in developing patience and wisdom, interest in developing all the good states of mind. And one can do that without being religious. But if one doesn't follow the structure of religion, it's hard to go deep. It's hard to do it very well. It's hard to find a structure which is very extensive, that guidance that will really show exactly how to do that. And so that's why the religions are important.
어다 되네 봐서 다서 덤 잡샤나 안 나바산지 쇼트서 덤 잡샤나 따바 땡저다 저바 아스테레
And then, in short, if we summarize, we into a big kind of outlines. So, so the first outline I didn't hear properly.
데데 항상 레라버 벤 가르샤서 넘버 산지에서 추점아서 두샤나 따바 땡저다 저바 세워메베 스타 데데 벨 레라버 카투이나
The point and Sikma Konan. So the heart of Buddhism is both the view of dependent arising and the conduct of not harming.
지금 따바 땡저서나 가르쳐서나 소소 추는 니다 학과 제베베 히럽을 발 때네 총그래서 그래
The view of dependent arising is coming from the wisdom, or the mind, the awareness, which knows the mode of abiding of all phenomena to be dependently arising.
추는 니다 학과 여름니다 학과베 간에베 따바 땡저한테 간의 정보를 써서나 제당 따바 땡저서 따바 세바데 유기 따바다 유신 따바 니여레
So the view of dependent arising, so the view can be divided into two. The view of dependent arising in relation to an object, and the view of dependent arising in relation to an object possessor.
다 가르쳐는 유신 따바 세서나 추는 니네로 학과베 히랍드레
So the view of the object possessor is the view of the wisdom, which knows as a mode of abiding of all phenomena.
다 답변 가르쳐서
Tata kogidu, non la yankem me pachakso.
단테 다 유효세요 예. 다 뭐람자 장주 샘처럼 뭐제 마제반은 제반냐 뭐 거야. 저 다와는 거제 마제반은 제반냐 뭐 권에 배가시오니 모델은 제한테는 몇 명한테 제일 다들 그래서 자이쇼 그래서 이제 시와당 이제 그렇지나 대화 팀버러지 좀 무슨 도진 짜시 대장데 데레쇼 이 모델은 제대로 몇 명한테 다들